when there's like the harsh S and
Something,
a TH,
yeah.
something, and you like your brain just like something.
Something, yeah.
Just switch it over.
I think the biggest marker of possibly a Canadian, but also probably some Americans, it is the A sound. Where I said you just now. I said you can't.
You can't.
You can't say the TH sound. You know. Hello, everybody. Gerald Undone here. Let's see, that's an accent too. I'm like not even doing my real voice.
Was that Canadian?
I don't know what it is.
Hello.
I'm here with Joey Helms.
Hello.
Hi, Joey. How are you?
Good. Good. How you?
I'm good. Are you?
Gerald.
I was like, are you doing like an American accent?
I was like, I'm gonna do a bout.
And I just met Joey Helms for the first time. I don't know, yesterday or the day before, whatever it was.
Saturday.
But I never actually asked you anything about yourself because I normally just talk about myself when I meet people.
Yeah.
You know.
That I noticed that.
Yeah. Very
Yeah.
sort of like
Yeah.
self-orbiting.
Yeah. Controlling the room.
That's right. So I thought we could. I noticed that Condor Blue put us on the schedule together, but with no plan.
No topic.
That's right.
Just
So I thought
gonna
maybe I
wing
would just ask you a little bit about what you do, why you do it, where you're from, where you are now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Why you are if you're on YouTube, what do you do on YouTube? Why you're at NAB? Just give me the whole story, and I'll ask some more questions as we go.
Yeah. Where do we start? With birth?
At birth. Yeah.
With a German accent, like should I lean in really?
So unless you're
it
not,
was stronger when I was little, I guess.
were you?
Well,
So how many years have you been? You told me you live in Chicago.
Yeah.
Actually, you say Chicago.
Chicago. Yeah. No. Quick intro to
Yes.
who I am, in a nutshell. Born and raised in Germany, but now live in Chicago, and
There's nobody in Germany ever named Joey Helms. I can tell you that
no,
much.
it's not my real
What's his
name.
name?
Like it's a nickname.
Johannes or
Oh
something?
boy, now you revealed it to the rest of the world. No one knows that now. This is like brand new news here. But yeah, no, like born and raised in Germany, but then over the years made it over like, different countries over to Chicago. In my day job, I work in advertising in the creative industry on that front, and ironically also on the YouTube front, sort of like YouTube advertising.
Yeah.
So, and then on the side, I started like
Meaning
many
that
years
you
ago.
advertise on YouTube for, or that you
I like, think of. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
or that you discuss advertising.
I discuss like think of it as a creative consultant on how to put the best ad on YouTube creatively. Like what are the creative elements that make a YouTube ad effective?
And is this for YouTubers who are trying to create?
For big brands.
Oh, for big brands.
Big brand
Okay.
size, yeah. So that's my day job. But then on the side, over the past couple of years, I started filming. Well, I started with photography many moons ago. Switched over to photography, to filmmaking when drones came about. You know, like the DJI Phantom 3, I believe, is like really what got me into motion picture.
Yeah.
And yeah, then started like uploading videos to YouTube, and then the pandemic hit. That's when like we had a little bit more free time to do something else and focus on elements that are possibly more down our passion lane, and just uploaded more and more videos and focused on like that element, especially like as when you get into the filmmaking world, you get to know all these different camera manufacturers, and always like at the horizon that like many people always aspire to get a red camera.
Sure.
Remember those days? Yeah. So at some point I was like, all right, the Komodo came out or was announced, like on one of those forums. Then I started like I got one of those Stormtrooper early pre-release models,
Right.
the white ones, and that was an interesting moment because like I've never shot on a red at that point, and but I was one of the early adopters, I would say, of that model, and was trying to really explore this world of filmmaking more and take basically viewers with me on the journey. So that is like how like I was starting out on YouTube a little bit more in that niche of like cinema cameras, but like for those that make the way from mirrorless to sort of cinema camera that transition over there, but also like sort of like being a beta tester of this new product in
Right.
a way in the public sphere, and
So what are you doing now? You told me a bit of backstory. So what's the latest? Like what's the next upload or whatever? The next
Well, there's been like a few interesting pieces. Like if I think of from an overall YouTube channel strategy, it's actually quite erratic because like how my channel grew was like first that was this Komodo, cinema like prosumer cinema space of gear that really like started building my channel, and then I crashed a drone into a volcano. That is like sort of my second audience. People who
You
really
crashed a drone into a volcano?
Yeah.
This came up recently, not with you. I was at a dinner with somebody, and then they're like, yeah, you could like film over a volcano or whatever. It was like until the drone crashed, and there was like, I saw a video of that. I wonder if by chance this has anything to do with you.
I don't know. It was wild because I licensed it to Reuters, and then the next day it was on all the news around the world.
That must have been you then.
It
yeah.
was the wildest experience. Well, like flying there too, but like then also like the media outburst.
Was it
after that.
accidental or purposeful?
I'm not going to talk about
Okay,
that.
sure enough.
It's-
He did it on purpose.
people can watch the video.
He's
and
like, this
judge
will
for-
be viral. Or more like, this will be viral.
Well, I found out you have German heritage and you speak German, so I'm going to interview you now. In German.
You're gonna interview me now in German? That'll be much slower. I'll be doing this.
Hallo,
Yeah,
ich bin der
hello.
Gerald.
That was back at the Joey and I were staying at the same house, and I think I told you about that, right? The funny way I say house.
House.
As a kid growing up, I grew up I'm first generation Canadian, and I grew up in a household that spoke
Household.
that spoke German for the first, I don't know, few years. But I went to all English schools and everything, and then now I just speak English all the time,
Yeah.
and I always make fun of German as like, I don't know any of these nouns anymore.
Yeah.
Why do you got to make them so long and complicated, you know? And if you don't practice, you're not going to remember any.
Yeah.
But I do have a few weird vestiges that the way that I speak is like mostly Canadian, because I say like about,
About.
you know. But
Eh?
I also say, I do say a, yeah, I'll finish those later. But I also say house and couch, which my friends growing up were like, what are you talking about? Come on over to my house, you know.
Come on over. Well, we also translated your name and your channel's name.
I'm not convinced. I'm not sold on it, but we did run it through.
Do you want to pronounce it or?
Why?
And then I will say.
So my first name actually is a German name.
Right.
So anglicized, everybody says Gerald, but there's no soft G's, so it's Gerald. Is my you have such a prototypical German way of saying Gerald.
Well, I'm overemphasizing it.
But I consulted Joey about what he thinks the most appropriate replacement for Undone was, and we have like a, what is it? It's gemacht. What's
Rückgängig gemacht.
which
Couldn't be more German.
Which
Couldn't
means
be
like
harder to
to
pronounce.
come apart or something.
Yeah,
like?
yeah. Well, like just undo something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna go with that. If I do have, you know what's funny though is a lot of maybe my second biggest audience portion is German.
Well, hello.
So there's probably a couple right now that are getting
Yeah,
a
they're
kick
like,
out of.
yeah,
Like, he should change
Gerald
it.
rückgängig gemacht.
Ich should
Din,
change this.
din, 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 din. Ist verrückt.
Sometimes. I do get a lot of people though that say, "Why does he say he's crazy? His videos are so pragmatic or whatever." I don't know. Anyway, so you're from Hanover?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful Hannover, center of Europe.
Well,
actually-
center of Europe.
Well, the two biggest
And I thought I
autobahns
had
are
an egotistical world
Oh,
view. or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
I'm from the center of the
the
universe.
center of Europe. Yeah, please. Well, the two biggest autobahns are crossing there, so it's pretty much a hub where a lot of traffic crosses.
Right.
And being at a convention, we have actually one of the world's biggest convention centers, and had the World Exposition in 2000. I have a little local pride. I don't have a lot of German pride,
Right.
but when it comes to Hanover, I have a little local pride, and that's like one of the things. Like we have a big convention center. It's massive, like twice the size of the Vegas one.
Of this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the whole thing.
I've never been. Hanover's in the north, right?
Yeah, kind
Yeah.
of. Yeah, center of Germany.
I told you that my family's from Karlsruhe,
Karlsruhe.
which was a strange word to say. I think that it means like a king or whatever, like the you know Karl
Yeah.
Wilhelm, whatever, right? And
Went
then-
there to die.
What's that?
I don't know if he's is he was he buried there or
Yeah,
something?
yeah. There's
yeah.
a big tribute marble thing or whatever, you know, like. And so that's the resting place of, but not too far away. There's also a thing called a Kaiserdome in a town called. Nope, never gonna remember. And so that's like actually like the sarcophagus, like the resting places of all like you know thousands of years or whatever of previous Kaisers.
Yeah. welcome to the Condor Blue channel where you get a little bit of German history.
Yeah, exactly. It's the German history portion of your NAB show, mandatory.
I'm curious, what's the most fascinating or like interesting innovation that you've seen here? Now I'm going to interview you because I have no answer.
At NAB?
Yeah. So it's my first NAB, so I'm like really taking it in, and been at first overwhelmed on the first day, but now I'm like getting a hang on it.
I don't know how practical it is for the average content creator, but the thing I saw that I thought was the most impactful was those crazy Infinimats that Aperture's doing, because they have one on display that's a 20 by inflatable, floating in the ceiling, you know. And as soon as I saw it, I had like the wheels turning of like, what if I made my entire ceiling an inflatable light panel, you know?
Can you individually activate parts of it?
Yeah, so they have two sizes of pixels. They have a 2x1 or 2x2.
Okay.
I guess it probably depends on the shape of the. I mean, you could probably compile things too if you want. But anyway, so in that case, that 20 by is 64 independently controlled pixels. So you can do all kinds of stuff if you want. Which, of course, I wouldn't even do. I would just set it full daylight, 100% power.
So purple.
Or purple, yeah. I would have two settings, you know.
Woo.
But I think it's cool, and I'm actually looking to maybe equally absurd to actually try one of the 4x, because they have a 4x as well. It just has like a key light in the studio.
It reminds me, like, you know, the Batman cave where they have like all the light. I think Josh Yost shot in that.
They have,
before, right?
they actually have like 3 of those, which is interesting. I think it must have been a trend where maybe it was. I don't even think it was Dark Knight did it first. But there's in different places. There's one up like where I live, like in the Toronto area.
Oh yeah.
And then whichever one Josh went to and stuff. It's and they make the whole ceiling these like panels, and then they turn on and say, you know.
I mean, it looks pretty dope.
What about you? Have you seen anything that's?
The most fascinating thing for me are those booths where they have a set up, and there are people sitting in there, and I'm thinking like imagine it's like the set where it's like a shop where they're fixing a motorcycle, cleaning a motorcycle. So there's this dude.
Oh, like there are
Black Magic.
Yeah, Black Magic has.
They're just like cleaning the motorcycle all day. And then there's like another scene where it's like a cafe, and there's
Why
this
is that
lady.
the most fascinating?
I mean, I'm just empathizing for the people sitting there all day. Like she's sitting there as if she like was stood up by a date or so all day, just waiting for someone to show up. But it's just.
If you polish that motorcycle, we go and look at it today, and there's like a spot where the paint is missing or whatever. You know? Probably should have alternated.
That was possibly the most interesting thing for me. But
what does that say about NAB?
I don't know. But it's fascinating because, like, to the point of this being a convention, obviously, like, people coming together again, especially, I mean, like, it's not that it hasn't happened for the last couple of years, but for me, it's definitely the first time going to a filmmaking or,
this is a broadcast convention, sir?
A broadcast convention. That's what I was, like, trying to rephrase it. But it's the first time, and seeing people that I've only interacted virtually with, both on the brand side, but also on the creator side. I think that's really the value for me to come out here. And
I think a lot of people would agree with you.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're not in I think for content creators, it's very hard to overstate how sort of significant it is to go to an event, this one or anyone else, and then see other people do the same thing as you. Because I always say YouTube is so weird. You sit in your room talking to a camera, to yourself, then you edit your own face and everything. It gets really isolating and strange.
It's weird, so weird.
And most people that aren't in this space don't understand it either. Like if you try to talk to your family about it, they ask you like really weird questions. So when you go to a thing like this, you get to bump into a bunch of people that you can skip all that, and everybody just understands everybody's plights, and you can move on to, discussing German history instead of instead of YouTube or whatever. You know? But it's good to be able to commiserate and have shorthand for it. I've noticed something to make fun of you a little bit more.
Yeah, please do.
We both do a bit of a chameleon thing, where when you talk to me for a while and I lay the Canadian on you pretty thick, you tone down your German accent.
Do I?
You do.
Really?
But if I comedically ramp up my faux German accent, you get more German as it goes on, and I find that it's like You have like a adaptive accent mode for where you
That
are.
might be true. I noticed like over the time, it's definitely also like the topics that I'm talking about because I used to live in England too. So if I talk about things that happened there, I pick up like certain elements of that accent
Yeah.
again.
When
Yeah.
when you first said the first word ever.
Like, oh my God, he's so German.
No, I thought you were Irish.
Oh, I lived in Ireland for 2.5 years.
Ah,
So
okay.
that-
It was like I don't know what it was. You probably were like hi
it's-
there, whatever. You said something, and I was like, that's not an Irish thing. No, I don't think anyone in Ireland's ever said hi there. That sounds like
What's the crack?
No, yeah, exactly. But you said something, and I was like, oh, he must be Irish. And then all of a sudden, then it transitioned
Like,
slowly
the
into
fuck
like,
is going
you know,
on? Yeah.
hello, my name is Joey Helms.
Hallo. Hallo, Gerald.
Yeah, exactly. I make the videos on the YouTube.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I don't know how to define my accent sometimes. Definitely like weird.
I've always found that.
Oh, we got 2 minutes to go. We gotta be on the
No, that
time.
was terrible. And you should have like said zwei instead.
Two.
Zwei Minuten.
1, 2, 3. Yeah.
And you also did that joke too when somebody said, "Does anybody know what time we're supposed to go there?" And you were like, 9.
Well, that I only picked up that it is really a thing when I lived in, like for the past couple of years when I lived in the
Yeah.
US. Like that was like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna lean into that joke if everybody loves that.
Yeah.
9.
So what is next for your, what's the next project or whatever that you're working on?
Well, I really want to lean further into the element of documentary storytelling through YouTube, honestly, like because yes, building an audience in the camera space and talking about gear is one fun thing, and it motivates you to go out there. But then there's always that aspect, and I feel like also talking to other people, that element of creative expression, and because I'm blessed that I have like a day job that allows me to live and use the YouTube channel really as like a playground to experiment, to do to have my creativity expressed. It's like I'm not like super precious about what I
Right.
put out, whatever out.
That's good.
Put out. Is that how you would say it in Canadian? Put out.
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 You put it
See,
out.
I'm like, I'm
Put it
down,
out.
like-
Putting it out.
putting it out. Yeah. So yeah, it's like really always follow just like what I'm like passionate in the moment, but like overall, big traveler and telling these stories and bringing those places where I'm like fortunate enough to go to life through the technology that is now at our fingertips.
So you haven't found that I think a lot of people do where they have their day job,
Yeah.
they start doing YouTube, maybe they're somewhat related, then they push YouTube to increase the revenue there so they can quit their day job and then
Yeah.
just do YouTube full time. You haven't ever felt the job,
I'm not there, like by any stretch of the imagination.
but you've never wanted to do that transition?
Not necessarily, because like my day job is still very fulfilling, and it's like also YouTube 24/7. Like it's really like
That's a good point.
24/7 YouTube what I
Yeah.
do. Right, like the full trifecta. As a viewer, I watch Gerald rückgängig gemacht and other channels,
That's right.
and then in a day job as an advertiser or like as a creative consultant, like I think about it from the advertising perspective, and then as a creator, the production side, and then putting content on the phone. So
that makes
it's
sense,
a
I
real
think,
trifecta.
because the people for whom what I said applies are normally people who were doing like client shoots, and they were like, "Hey, I can just do the shoots from in my underwear in my
Yeah.
living room, and then I don't have to deal with clients." you know?
Right,
Yeah.
right. And the nice thing is about my day job, it's like very upstream on a strategic level, right? It's not
Right.
like the element that I'm missing there is the hands-on making things.
Right.
But it's the strategic creative thinking that's happening there. But then on my channel, I can actually be hands-on with the cameras, with the editing software, and actually make things. Especially like if you work in the creative industry, it's always creative by committee. So you never can bring your own vision fully to life. But that's why having an outlet like YouTube is very valuable, because you can get that balance out there and not be frustrated because like they didn't take my idea again.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Gives you two avenues. And then I guess as a shout out to the fact that we're at the Condor Blue booth, what brings you to Condor Blue, or what's your affiliation with Condor Blue this year? Or you said it's your first NAB, right?
Yeah, it's my first.
What are
NAB.
you doing at the Condor Blue house? Yeah.
Just making some trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a user of Condor Blue? Like how to?
Yeah. So Brandon over there, I know him.
10 seconds.
10 seconds. 10 seconds.
What
10
if,
Sekunden.
what if we did 9 seconds? Yeah.
7, Yeah, no, I got pulled into this world through Brandon over there,
He's trouble.
and really getting to know the products here as well, like firsthand, like first time in hand. So like,
You know
especially-
Brandon outside of this?
Yeah, from beforehand. So
Oh.
worked somewhere else. I don't know if we say that, but like, yeah.
Brandon is a skilled individual.
Yeah.
Not a very fun person to be around though.
Can you do a German accent?
Can Brandon do
Can
it?
yeah, Brandon, can you do a German accent? Like as an outro? Okay.
You said we have 10 seconds, but what happens if we just keep talking? What time do they come on?
Where are they?
But we've taken this over, Lucas. This is the German hour now. Yeah. I don't think that will work. I think that this will be all day German programming from now on, and we will talk about the nice places you can live.
Yeah, we got to bring in the Roman from Austria.
Yeah.
Wherever he is.
And only German brands from now on. Bring over Sennheiser und Sackler.
Sennheiser is there,
und,
yeah.
Neumann microphone.
Ari,
Ari.
Tentacle Thing is German too.
But that doesn't sound German. Tentacle.
Tentakel, Synchronisation.
So yeah, it's been a takeover.
All right.
You know what?
Go all day, talk to the audience, pass us by.
I have an inappropriate joke when we're off air.
All right. Can't wait for it. Thanks so much.